All right, so what we're going to do today is I have some instructions uploaded into the week 15 folder. Let's go take a look. It involves some code that we will cut and paste into our own. Oops, we don't need two of these documents anymore. Let me unpublish one of them. So if you go into the Lecture V folder, you'll see a document to open. Where is that code? Where is that code? Oh, don't tell me I expected us to type it in. No way. Well, I guess it won't take that long. But anyways, so what are we going to be doing today? We're going to use a function called circle that you give it a position and then give it a radius and a color, and it goes to that place and it draws a circle. And once you have a function like that, then you can draw things like that. So that's our goal. I'm going to go ahead and type this in, and if you feel like typing it in yourself, great. Otherwise, I'm going to be posting what I type in as a document. I'm going to paste it into the folder in just a minute, so it shan't take long to do that. I don't know why I didn't make a copy and paste. Alrighty, so this is...
Have you been here long?
I just got here.
Okay, good. I thought I had missed something. Okay.
No, my mistake. I was having trouble getting in. I had to reboot my router.
I was too.
And I should have said that when I got here. I'm sorry about that.
Not a problem. Thank you.
So I believe this is Lecture V. Yes. And like I said, I'll post the text of this in just a minute as I'm done typing, because I do type quickly. So the first thing that our program does is import the turtle, of course, and then create a turtle. And we're going to set the width of the drawing pin pretty small. We're going to set the drawing of it pretty fast, but if we want to make it even faster, we can always just set it to 0, which removes all delay whatsoever. And then we're going to hide the turtle so that we don't see that little, the little shape, the little cursor shape that we normally do when we have the turtle on the screen. And so we have our blank screen now with nothing on it, and that's okay, right? Just to prove that it works, I'm going to make the turtle draw a little bitty circle, and then I'm going to keep typing. All right, so it drew a little circle. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to work on this. Now, this function is called relocate. And I'm not real sure why I made a relocate function when there's... Okay, well, I guess it makes sense. Anyways, what does relocate do? It lifts the pin of the turtle and it tells it to go to a certain X position and a certain Y position. And then to set the heading of the turtle 90 degrees, which in turtle land is due north. I know that 0 is supposed to be due north if you're like, a fan of maps. But in turtle land, 90 degrees is due north and 0 degrees is straight out to the right. Anyways, so we need this. It takes 2 arguments, so it's got 2 coordinates. It lifts the pin, meaning that it doesn't draw a line as it's going here. And then it sets the X position to the X value that was passed in. It sets the Y position to the Y value that was passed in. Then it sets the heading to due north. And then it puts the pin back down. Why do we do that? So that we could do things like this. I'm going to comment out the pin up right there. So if I wanted to go, to 100, 100, and then I wanted to relocate to -100, 100, And then I wanted to relocate to 100 comma negative 1. Anyways, so when it runs this, if it did not have the pin up command, we would see the line drawn wherever we told it to go, right? So we don't want that as it's moving around. Gonna do that. Now I'm not sure why I guess at the time that I wrote this, I didn't realize that there was just a go to command that you could use. You could type, t dot go to and then tell it to go to 30 comma 40, and it'll just go there, right? So I didn't need to set X and Y separately. So I'm going to make that change to the code is right here. I'm going to delete these two lines and just do t dot go to X comma Y. And I'm going to delete those. We don't need those. All right, so drawing a circle. Well, there is a circle command, right? You can draw a circle any old time you want to, but I want this specific version to go to a specific space on the screen and then draw a circle, right? So it's going to kind of combine a relocate with a circle so that you can tell it, okay, I want you to draw a circle at position 30 comma 40 of radius 10, and I want it to be red. So def circle, it takes 4 arguments, x comma y comma radius comma color. Forgot my colon there. So it needs to relocate to the specified position. We need to set the color. And I'm going to make a change on the fly here. When you specify colors, you can specify either the foreground color or the foreground and the background color. And this one's using the same color for both values. What we could do is allow ourselves to pass in a background color too. But if they don't specify a background color, we just set it equal to the foreground color. Alrighty, so we have set the color. Now we need to begin the fill. What does that mean? Begin the fill means that if you draw the shape, see if I just do t.circle 50 here, it's going to be a hollow circle. It's going to be nothing. What happened? Color is not defined. Well, okay, I guess that would be a problem. I'm just going to leave it like it was. Alrighty. Run again. So when we draw a circle using the t.circle command, it's hollow. But if I do this, if I do t.begin underscore fill before I draw the circle, and then I say t.end fill after I draw the circle, then it won't be hollow. It'll be filled with whatever the color of the circle, which in this case is black, right? So that's what this is going to do, except it allows us to specify the color. Because when... Let's finish typing it in. So we relocate, we set our color, and then we begin our fill, t.begin underscore fill. We draw the circle of the specified radius, and then we end our fill. Now let's test this one out now. Draw a circle at position 10 comma 10 with a radius of 10, and it's supposed to be green. All right. And, circle at 20 comma 20 with a radius of 10, and it's filled with red. Okay, seems to be working. So you see what I'm doing is just to make sure that I catch mistakes as soon as possible, I'm testing out the functions after I type them. All right, one more, which is just to draw crosshairs on the screen. It takes a parameter called in, which is the how wide the crosshairs are supposed to be, 100 pixels or something like that. And so it goes to position 0, 0, except 0 minus, if it was 100, minus 50, just so that it can locate and draw crosshairs on the screen. That's all that this is doing. So relocate to 0 minus n divided by 2, comma 0. Go to the middle screen and then back up half of your total length. Right, if we want a crosshairs of a length 100, we need to go to like position -50. And then t dot set heading 0, which is due east. And then we're going to go t dot forward, that many pixels. And then we're going to do the opposite. Instead of drawing a west to east line, we're going to draw a south to north line. So we need to relocate again. We're going to set our heading to that, which is north. And then we're going to go forward that many pixels again. All right, let's try our crosshairs out. All right, looks like they work. That's just so that we have position 0, 0 very clearly marked on our screen. It's really the only reason we put that there. All right, and then to test the code, we had the crosshairs, and then we have a call to the circle. Now we're going to wind up deleting this call to the circle and replace it with our own pretty soon, but go ahead and finish typing in what we've got here. All right, okay, so that seems to work. Now, one thing about this circle command is that its drawing position is not from the middle of the circle. What do I mean by that? If I say, I want you to draw me a circle position 0 and 0, it's not centered on the crosshairs. Instead, the origin of the circle is its eastmost point right there, if that makes sense. We could modify the code so that it would push the circle over by the right number of pixels, right? So if we said we wanted a pixel that was, 100 pixels, if we wanted a circle that was 100 wide, then to move our cursor over 50 pixels before we moved it so it would be centered. However, the rest of the assignment, I think is written to not assume that, to assume that it's going to work just the way it is. But I just wanted to show you that the origin of the circle is here and not in the middle. Why am I making a fuss about that? Because when we try to draw our circle, we just need to remember that the point that we need to type in this case would be a 40, 20, right? And not 35, 20. Although if you made the same mistake consistently, then it would probably work out anyways. But that's the way it works right now, and we're not going to modify it. So because I'd have to change all the graphics in the assignment. Seems to work. I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste this into the assignment folder so you can go and grab it if you want. All right, if you go back to the Lecture V folder, you'll see the program. So if you feel like it, just copy it all. Right click on it, copy, and then paste it into your code. And if anybody is using PyCharm rather than idle, there's one more line you'll want to add to your code and put it at the very bottom, which is just, nah. Tell me if you're using PyCharm. If you're not, then I'm not going to even figure out how to get it going. There'd probably be 2 lines of code we would need to add to fix it. All right, does everybody have this file copied? Anybody who's actually going to? Did you put that in idle so that we can start making changes to it? Because that's what we're going to do, is make changes to it.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm not quite there yet.
All righty.
I'm working on it.
It's not letting me copy it right now.
I'm sorry, pardon me?
It's not letting me copy yours.
You can't put your cursor on it, highlight it all, and then right click?
It's just not showing up for me for some reason.
It's not showing. Did you refresh the page?
Yeah, I just did that.
And it's still not there? Well, I'll attach it as a text file. Just a second. Okay, if you refresh it again, nope, that didn't work. It didn't upload it. I must not have clicked the right button. Get that. Once more, please. All right, if you go into V once more and refresh it, you should see lecture v1.txt. And it's a TXT file, so you ought to just be able to open the file up and then edit it with your text editor and copy all the text out of it. All right, pardon me, I was talking over somebody, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm still not seeing it. It's under assignments, correct?
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it may be. Go to modules. Go to week 15 and look for this thing that says Lecture V Cartesian Plane. And you know what? You're right. It's probably not there. I bet nobody can see it. For Pete's sake.
Like I don't have a week.
Nope. You don't have a week 15 folder.
No, that's
My fault. And I apologize a million times, guys. It's there now.
Okay. No, you do fine. It's just a thing.
My mistake. All righty.
Hey, there it is.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it now. Yes. Okay. All right, I have it now too.
Okay, cool deal. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, let's follow the instructions in the Word doc, which talks us through a few things. So anyways, here's our goal. We want to draw Mr. Pretty Bear here. And so, what is the XY position of the yellow point? Well, if we look at it, it's at 10:30. We're going all those years back to junior high. So it's at 10:30. You don't have to fill this in. And then what is the XY coordinate and the radius of the origin of the circle? Well, the origin of the circle is at 40, 20. And its radius is, well, it looks like the whole circle goes from 10 to 40, so that means it's 30 wide, right? So its radius would be 15. That makes sense. The radius isn't the diameter. The diameter is from here to here, and so the radius is half of that. All right, so we're going to tackle the bear, but first we'll do a simplified version. These will be the pieces we tackle first. So let's see. The head starts at 70, 30. And it looks like the head goes from 10 to 70, so it's 60 in diameter, so it's 30 in radius. Ear 1 starts at, looks like 2550. Ear 2 is at the same height. So it's also at 50, but it started at, looks like 75. So 2550, 7550. The radius of this guy looks like he goes from 5 to 25. So it looks like he's got a radius of 20. Excuse me, a diameter of 20. So the radius would be half that. I didn't really mean to make this full screen. How do I get it out of full screen? All right. So what are we going to do with that information? We're going to code those circles. So I need to have that information on the screen so I can go and put them here. I don't need a light blue circle anymore. The order in which I draw them is important because, while we're at it, would we think it would look neat if the circle had a black border and then was filled with color? I'm curious as to whether that'll be pretty or not. So I'm going to try. One of these two things would have to be set to black, but I'm not sure which one in order to get it so that it has a black outline and then a colored fill. Let's find out. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks, but we could always change it back if we wanted to. So what I did is I put the word black there in quotes. And if we want a big color list, we can find one. We just go up here and type in TKINTER colors. And we can get these pages that show whole bunches of colors. Like that one. I'll post that as a link. All right, so if you want to make your bear psychedelic or pretty or whatever, then in the announcements, the top announcement is that color chart. So back to where I was going. So circle starts at 25, comma 50. That's its XY coordinate. It has a radius of 10. And I'm going to say that it's tan. And if tan isn't a pretty enough color, then I will go to the color chart instead. Now I know I need 2 more circles and I'm lazy, so I'm just going to copy and paste this one, but change the coordinates. The next one's at 7550, and it's also 10 wide. And then the head itself is 70, 30, 30. All right, there we go. There's our bear. However, it's teeny tiny and it's not centered on the screen. And so the next thing I'm going to do is to work on that. And I don't want to work on it by changing the data. What do I mean by that? I want the code itself to be modified so that the same circle calls will instead draw it in the center of the screen, and so it'll be larger on the screen. And that's known as shifting, because we're going to be shifting the position of the circles so that they so that they're centered on the screen. Shifting, and then scaling. Scaling is when you make something larger or smaller. So how do you shift? Well, we're just going to modify the X and the Y values, right? Because right now, this big circle is starting at this position at 40, 30. But we want it to be here, right? That's where we want it to be. So we're going to need to subtract 40 from the X value and 30 from the Y value of everything we draw. All right, so everybody who's working on it, who wants to have it working, do you have it drawing 3 circles yet?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got mine working.
Cool deal.
Yes.
All righty, so let's go look at the next thing. I love that. Copy the code below and paste it into a Python script. Yeah, sure. Oh, you know what? I think I just realized if I double-clicked on it, it did become copyable. Oh, well. As I typed it, I was explaining it, so it's probably better that way anyways. So shifting coordinates. Our bear is tiny. It's in the wrong place. We need to learn about shifting and scaling. So to shift, shifting is modifying the coordinates to move the drawing to a different position on the screen. So say we want to shift the green circle so that its position is that of the pink circle. That looks grammatically wrong. Anyways, we want to take this circle and we want to move it here. So circle 1's X coordinate is 50. Circle 2's X coordinate is 10. Circle 1's Y coordinate is 30. Circle 2's Y coordinate is 0. And so the shift value is just a difference between them. 50 minus 10 is 40. 30 minus 0 is 30. That way, if we had the point, 40, 40 here, and we wanted to draw it relative to that, we would subtract the same values from both of their XY coordinates. So we're going to modify our circle command in order to support those coordinates, those shift values. But then let's talk about scaling first. Scaling is when you shrink or grow something. So the green area represents the graph shown on the prior page. It went from -40 to +40, right, like that. Maybe it didn't. There's something strange about the way that's worded. Anyways, so if we have this line and we want to scale it to fill up larger amounts of space, we can do that. So if the line starts out here, starting from position -20, and going to +20, +20, and instead we want it to go from -40, -40 out to +40, +40. Well, if you remember, -20, 20 to +40, -40, 40, those are just like 2. It's been scaled by a factor of 2. It's been doubled. So there seems to be a critical page missing here, my own fault, which is how we go and modify the code to handle our scaling factors and our shifting factors. So that's what we're going to go do. We're going to come on to idle. And I'm going to modify circle so that we figured out the shift values that we wanted up here. $40 and $30. So let's say that shift X equals 40, shift Y equals 30. I'm editing a text file. Nothing is colored. That's not my program. Try that again. Have I closed idle? That's the one. Okay. So shift X equals 40, shift Y equals 30. No, that's the crosshairs function. I'm meaning to be putting this in a circle. Alrighty, so inside circle. Once more, shift X equals 40, shift Y equals 30. So X minus equals 40, or X equals X minus, not 40. X minus equals shift X, or if you'd rather write it as X equals X minus shift X, you can do it that way. And then Y minus equals shift Y, which is the same as writing Y equals Y minus shift Y. All right, now our little circles should be centered on the screen. Or not. Where are my brown circles? I typed the brown circles into the text document rather than here. Brilliant. I bet y'all typed them in the right place. Let's go back and get them. Okay. So circle 25, 50, radius of 10, make it 10. 2 more copies of it. 75, 50, 10, and then 70, 30, 30. All right, and although it's teeny tiny, the shape of the bear head is in fact on my screen. So how are y'all doing? Did you get this part done so that it draws the 3 circles on the screen? And if you did that, have you modified your circle function so that it's got the information about how to shift it? I can't get all of that on the screen at the same time. I'm going to cut the crosshairs module and paste it above the circle module. You don't need to do that. The only reason I'm doing that is so I can have both of those things on the screen at the same time.
I got mine working.
Good deal.
Yeah, mine works too.
Awesome. All right, so now we need to scale it, meaning we need to adjust the position by our scale factor. So let's just create a scale factor. I think we could start off at 2, but then we can keep increasing it because I don't think 2 is going to be enough. It's pretty small in the center of the screen. And so we need to say x times equals scale and y times equals scale. And I'm going to deliberately make a mistake here, which is to not increase the radius, but of course the radius needs to increase as well. And usually I actually do forget to do this. But anyways, now that I've done that, right, what's wrong with that? The circles need to be twice as wide as well for them to hook back up together. So the next line is radius times equals scale. And I thought I'd made a change. I am so confused. Lots of changes I made are gone. He doesn't have his black borders around his circles anymore. I know how to change that though. I just go here and change this to say, please draw your border with black, but fill with the color that's passed in as a parameter. Okay. So how did 2 look? Is 2 an adequate shift factor? Scale factor, I mean. Not really. I think it could be 4. Let's try 4. Yeah. All right. But he's got more pieces, right? He's got eyes and a nose. And what I normally do is I ask y'all to do that on your own rather than do it in front of you. So why don't I do that? Why don't I just pause? All you're going to have to do is to figure out the origin of I1, you know, that position, the origin of I2 and its radius, and then the origin of the mouth, you know, its X and Y position, and then its radius, and then fill those in. I don't know why this table only had 3 lines when now we have several more we need. But anyways, you could probably tell just by looking at it what you got to do. So if I was going to do one of the eyes, I'll just do one of the eyes, and then I'd like for y'all to do the other eye in the mouth yourself. So the right eye, where does it begin? The right eye starts at 60, right? And 60 comma 40. It looks like its radius is, looks like it's going from 43 out to about 59. 43 minus 59 is about 16. And half of 16 is 8? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess its radius is about 8. That's all I'm going to go. And that's all I'm going to. And then I'm going to say that I want the eye to be white. All right. So if you don't mind doing it yourself, go ahead and do the other eye in the mouth. I'll hang out for a second.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
My bear is still drawing on the left side of the crosshairs, and I don't know. I thought I had it all in there.
It might be this code. Do we have these calls right here at the top of your circle function?
Okay, shift X40, shift Y30, shift minus equals shift. Oh, I have an extra T in shift. Maybe that was it. Shift minus. Yeah, let me try to run that. I had an extra T. Maybe, I don't know if that would affect it. No, I still am to the left of the crosshairs.
Alrighty. How about I stop my screen share and you begin yours?
I'm sorry.
No. I wanted to get this working, so let's go ahead and do it.
There goes.
I'm actually having the same problem. So.
Oh, okay. Well, good. We'll fix it for everybody.
Do you want me to stop screen sharing?
I need to see your screen. Where's your screen?
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, okay, go ahead and run it, please. It looks like all of them are starting out at a Y position of 0. So let's look at the code.
Tell me if you want me to stop share.
No. Okay. Shift X equals 40, Shift Y equals 30, Y minus equals Shift X, or X minus equals Shift X, Y minus equals Shift Y. Scale is 4, X times equals scale, Y times equals scale. But do you see what I mean? It was lining them all up like they were all starting at the 0 coordinate, and I don't see why. I wish I could type on your screen, and I don't know how to do that. So,
I have line numbers if you.
Yeah, on line 31.
All right.
Let's add a print statement. So just tab over and add print. Parentheses, X comma Y comma radius.
Now run it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They're all starting at the same place.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't show them as starting at the same place. Okay, run it again, but don't close the output window.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, you can get rid of the bear itself because we know what the bear looks like, but the numbers I'm curious about. Okay, so at negative 60, 80, yeah, scroll that to the side, please, so that we can see the code as well. Alrighty.
Is your code say the same thing?
Yeah, I'm not seeing a difference yet. Oh. There may be a line of code missing from yours. I'm going to do my share now.
You want me to go off?
Yeah.
Relocate XY line missing on circle.
Right. There's a call to relocate missing. You see the top call in the crosshairs function? That also needs to be part of the circle code. And I'll show you where as soon as I can figure out what I'm doing. All right, so right here, add that call above the call to t.color.
Relocate XY. Okay. Let's see. right above T color. Oh, right under the print statement I did. Okay. Do I leave that print statement in there or take it out?
I would take it out. At least comment it out. We don't need that stuff on the screen anymore.
Okay.
I'm sure this is going to
All
fix
right.
it.
Let me run it and see if it works. Awesome.
Okie doke.
Okay. It did. Thank you.
Sure. So once you get the two white eyes and the black mouth going, why not scroll back up to the top of the document? Oh, I don't have the page showing all of the circles in their positions. Here it is. On the last page of the document, there's actually a two-part homework assignment coming up. But part one of the homework assignment is to finish the bear so that he's got his blue eyes and his nose and everything and his ears. So I would kind of like for us just to work on this. And so to make sure that you have the concepts, I just kind of want to hang out and pause the recording and let y'all work on it and get some of the circles down and make sure that you have the concepts. So I'm going to do that. I'll pause the recording. How do I pause rather than stop? There you go. Okay. So the homework portion of this, speaking for this recording, is to do the same thing, but homework 11's got a document in it. And in the document is, of course, our bear, but also the turtle. So some graph paper. And like I said, it'd probably be easiest if you printed it out, because otherwise, what numbers are you gonna use? I don't know. And once you get the coordinates for the turtle, you may need to modify your shift X and your shift Y in your scale. What do I mean by that? Well, just like when we were working with Elias's turtle, I mean bear, and the shifting wasn't right, we experimented with playing with the shift value. So like suppose I had the wrong shift value. Well, that's going to be too large. And then I ran it and it wasn't centered. Get the coordinates for your turtle done first. Go ahead and let it be off the side of the screen, and then start moving it by changing the shift values once you do it. So when you're going to do your turtle, you're just going to take all of these, and comment them out or delete them or whatever, and then you're going to replace them with the ones to draw the turtle. Now, I didn't finish my bear, so does somebody want to tell me the coordinates for the right iris and the inner ears? So what was his right iris? I know it'd be at that, but what was the origin of the right blue part of his eye?
32. I don't know if that's right.
Well, to me, that would be the left one. So what was the other one?
I have 54.
54? Okay.
I have the same.
And how about one of those inner ears?
I have 23 and 50.
23, 50, and a width of what? A radius of what? 8?
Yep.
Alrighty. And what color did you pick?
I had pink.
Pink? Alright, I like that. And how about the other one?
73, 58.
Professor,
Yes, ma'am?
are you going to be here for a bit? I need to go check into another class just to check in.
Well, I think that we ought to call class done, but if you and I need to talk later, let's go ahead and plan on
No,
doing
that's
that.
fine. I just didn't want to cut out of class if you weren't
No,
finished.
I think we're done. As long as you know that there's a homework assignment coming and that it's the turtle to draw the tortoise, and that please text me if we need to set up another, another Zoom session to help.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure thing, because I know we went way over today, so thanks for hanging with it.
No, that's fine. I enjoyed it. Um,
Alrighty,
see you
so
later, Leslie and Elias.
all right, yeah, see y'all.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You too.
You too.
Alrighty, gang. So I guess I'll stop the share and see y'all on Tuesday.